So Derek Fox is predicting a Labor-Greens coalition winning the next election, something our next guest will be happy to hear. Joining me now from Dunedin is Greens co-leader Metiria Turei. Tēnā koe. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Kia ora.
I want to talk a little bit about that Labor-Greens alliance in a moment, but first you were at Parakura's ceremony as tangi yesterday. What were your impressions?
It was beautiful. I don't know that he could have wanted more, as weird as that might sound. His whānau were there. There was so much love and affection. It was funny. It was very pragmatic. It was a beautiful, beautiful ceremony, and just reminds us of how he had touched so many lives, and so many people were there to pay their respects. It was gorgeous.
How did he touch your life? What was your relationship?
Well, I first got to know him over the foreshore seabed debacle when I was first an MP and a very new MP. And so he and I and other MPs travelled the country at the foreshore and seabed hui. And although we were on absolutely opposite sides of the issue, he was incredibly generous. He always recognised that I was there. He was always kindly about my presence. He was never disrespectful in his kōrero about the issues. You know, it just showed that he was able to connect on a relationship basis, and I think that's probably one of the best strengths of his, is that he understood that politics is about relationships, and protecting and maintaining those relationships was the most important thing. That
foreshore time was a very difficult one. What will be Parakura's political legacy, though, do you think?
I think the work that he did as minister, the Māori television service was done under his watch, but I think the constant priority of community development. You know, he came from a community development background, and he brought that to his role as minister, and I think that will continue to be his legacy. Naturally,
there would have been a lot that you both would have agreed on. Were there disagreements?
Yes.
What were they?
Oh no, very rarely. Parakura was very supportive of a piece of work that I'm doing at the moment with other MPs on an inquiry into Māori children, and was very staunch about the Feed the Children, Feed the Nation that was talked about yesterday a great deal. And that's right, that was where his heart was, and that's what he was committed to.
Let's talk a little bit about the Ikaroa Rāwhiti seat. Will the Greens stand someone there?
We haven't discussed this yet, and most of the MPs I've spoken to haven't had the stomach to discuss it until Parakura was safely in the ground. People will now want to talk about it. We're yet to see whether we think it's worthwhile standing.
What's your feeling? What's your feeling at the moment?
Well, in terms of in general, I think that Derek's right that there is a strong commitment to Parakura and to Labour Party in that electorate. He's held that electorate even when other Labour Party MPs lost theirs over the foreshore issue. But he held his electorate, and he continued to build support. So Labour does have a very strong loyal following. Anybody who takes that seat, if they're a Labour MP, a Labour person takes that seat, I think the real test for them will come at the general election rather than at this by-election, partly because the by-election will come so quickly.
The thing is that Parakura's departure leaves a big hole in the Māori Labour caucus, isn't it? I mean, will the Greens be looking to take some of those votes from Labour, some of those Māori votes?
We're always looking for votes from anybody at any time, so you know we welcome votes. But I think the issue for Labour will be you're finding someone who can have that same relational approach to that seat and to other Māori seats. The issue for Mana and Māori Party will be the same if they decide to contest there, and for us if we decide to as well. These are tricky issues. You know, you have to find the right person for a seat like this. I think for Māori MPs, you know, for us as a collective in the Parliament, he leaves a huge gap for us. We had a lot of respect and time for Parakura. We relied a lot on his judgment. He was a very smart and funny man, and so it will be difficult. We're going to have to find another way of being strong as a group of Māori MPs in Parliament without him.
Well, absolutely. If Derek Fox is correct, it'll be a Labour-Greens government next time around. What would be the first thing that a Labour-Greens government would do to lift Māori?
The focus for us, for the Greens, will continue to be jobs and kids. And so we need to make sure that we have a strong plan going into the election to create new jobs and to protect the existing jobs. We have a strong plan on lifting the well-being of children, particularly Māori children. The food and schools issue is growing in strength across the political spectrum for Labour, for the Greens, for Mana, who have their bill that's being debated very soon. We'll see strong consensus around that, I think, when that bill comes to the debate. So those will be the priorities that will continue into into the next election and after the election if there is a Greens and Labour government.
OK, so Parekura was vehemently opposed to asset sales, as are the Greens.
Yes.
The share offer for Mighty River Power closed on Friday. So where to now for that agenda?
Well, we will continue to talk to families and businesses about the fact that the NZ Power policy will help to provide them with fairer prices. We don't have an objection to fair returns to the shareholders or owners of the electricity assets, whoever they might be, but there should be fair prices for families and for small businesses in particular. I'm disappointed by some in the business community who are making all sorts of outrageous claims about the effect of the policy, because in fact many of their members will benefit directly, their business members will benefit directly, because they too have been paying far too much for power over many years, as have too many of our families and our whānau.
All right, we have to leave it there. Thanks so much for your time. Green Party co-leader Metiria Turei